welcome back to another adventure with Brian.
And Heather.
Outdoors, I'm Heather.
I'm Brian.
And right now, where are we?
We're in Freda, Michigan.
Freda, Michigan. Then what's Red Ridge?
That's where the dam is.
Oh, it's the Red Ridge Dam. So yeah, Freda apparently is kind of a ghost town, although people actually live here, so it's not really a ghost town, but...
Ghost mining remnants factory.
So I read a little bit about it, but I don't remember much, so I'm gonna have to do some research and maybe do a little bit of voiceover over the footage that we get. So we're just gonna check out the ruins today and stroll along the shores of Lake Superior. I think there's some cliffs to check out, and I don't know, just enjoy being off the beaten path for a little while in the ghost town of the Upper Peninsula.
Yep.
Go running into any ghosts?
No.
No dead miners? Okay. We'll show you around. Freda is an unincorporated community about 15 miles west of Houghton on the shores of Lake Superior on the western edge of the Keweenaw Peninsula. So it's not hard to find Freda on a map. There's a few different ways to get there, but basically, once you get near the town, just look for the giant smokestack and head in that direction. If you follow the roads, you'll end up to a little parking lot, and basically you just get out, and from the parking area there's a very steep footpath down to the ruins. So I recommend probably wearing some good hiking shoes, not only because the path down to the ruins is pretty steep, but also the entire ruins are covered in basically glass and debris and shards of I don't even know what. Back in 1910, when it was settled, it had a population of about 500 and was quite the booming town, and even a popular vacation spot, with it being a prime location on a major railroad line. Back then, unearthing the copper in this region produced 10 times more wealth than the California gold rush, and the town existed to serve the large Champion copper mill. All that's left today are a few residents in the ruins of the Champion copper mill, which gives it its ghost town reputation, even though people still technically live here. Also, no ghosts were encountered during the filming of these ruins. The Champion mill took in large chunks of rock and then used 6 large stamps to break it down. 4 were compound stamps with 15.5-inch cylinders, each treating about 700 tons daily, and then there were 2 simple stamps with 28-inch cylinders, both treating about 660 tons daily. This gave the mill a total capacity of about 4,000 tons daily. The boiler house had 4 22-horsepower Stirling and 5 Scotch Marine boilers. This is where I start to get a little confused, as I'm not an expert in mining nor a historian, but luckily Stanton Township provides this information. Although I may not quite understand what all these mechanical references of boilers mean, I do know the most prominent and recognizable feature of the ruins is the giant 235-foot concrete smokestack that still stands. This was constructed in 1916 with a new boiler installed. The diameter at the top measures 100 inches. So anyways, I guess coal was brought to the boilers by tram and then reduced to uniform size by a grinder before being fed into the grates, with the ashes being washed into the lake through a launder. Exhaust steam passed through dry condensers to a hot well where the water was fed to the boilers. This was all powered by a 500 horsepower cross-compound engine and turbine with a 180 horsepower engine on standby. The steel pump house had a 20 million gallon triple expansion pump, and water for the mill and boilers came straight from Lake Superior through a 1,020-foot tunnel, which was the longest tunnel ever driven under Lake Superior. The tunnel could provide enough water for 10 stamps. Screens were installed in the tunnel to avoid sand and wood pulp in the water, and a sand loading plant was erected in 1915. So if you're still following along and comprehending what I just said, fantastic. If you're like me and kind of need to understand the mechanics a bit more simply, then basically, copper-bearing rock from nearby mines were brought in by train, and then it would be broken into pieces by the stamps. Once broken down to smaller bits, water from Lake Superior was added and pulverized by iron balls. This resulted in a sludge containing about 40% or more copper. This was then sent back to the Michigan Smelter in Houghton by train, where it was made into ingots and shipped to the world. The mill closed in 1967, and everything of value, including all the machines, pipe systems, and lumber, was salvaged. Even the steel rails for the train system were salvaged. So all that remains today is the concrete foundation and smokestack. Beneath the smokestack is a little trail that leads down to the beach, where you'll find black shoreline from the bits of stamped sand deposited from the mill's operations. There's a pretty little man-made waterfall, and then just down the beach further are some towering sandstone cliffs. Well, that wraps up our Freda adventure of these old abandoned ruins.
It's kind of weird here.
Yeah, not a good place to bring dogs.
No, it's a lot of nails and broken glass.
Or maybe children. But really pretty coastline. Pretty cool historical stuff, so yeah.
Something different.
Something different for sure. So yeah, if you're new, make sure to give me a subscribe. We like to just run around the UP mostly, but follow along on our adventures. So thanks for coming along. Bye-bye.
It's a good place for dogs.
Sadie's getting
There's broken glass and nails everywhere.
She's like, this hike sucks, guys. Daddy's gonna have to carry you or take you down to the beach.